For tonight is I want to look at using a few bits of collaboration software, and I want to look at it from two sides really. I want to see how we can use it also for staff. I think a lot of the focus we've done so far has been on using digital tech for students, and I want to kind of turn it a little bit and look at how can we use digital tech to support staff development. I'll also, as we go along, kind of point out and go, well, this could be used actually as a student project as well. So there's quite a few things. I'm starting to move over to looking at some of the things with Teams, because I know a lot of people are using Microsoft Teams. And one of the biggest problems with Microsoft Teams is it's absolutely fantastic, but a lot of schools don't allow you to download the applications and all the other additional bits of Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to be showing you how you can embed some of the programs that we've used already into Teams so it can become part of your classroom going forward. I'm going to look at three bits of software tonight. I'm going to look at Trello, which some of you may have heard of. You know, Debbie, have you heard of it? You have? Oh, rubbish. I thought it was going to be one of those wicked surprises. Where have you heard of it, Debbie?
You mentioned it before.
Ah, good. Brilliant, that's fine. So we're going to look at Trello, which I use on a daily basis anyway. I absolutely love Trello, and hopefully you will as well. I'm going to look at using Padlet, but primarily to embed Padlet into Teams. I know a lot of you will already have a good understanding of it. And then I'm going to look at a third-party one, which is called Lino. Again, going down the kind of order of complexity. So Trello is quite advanced looking. Then we're going to have Padlet in the middle, and then Lino is, you know, it's nice, simple, clear, easy bits of software. What I'll do, I've got Beth, who is my voice of reason. I've got Lisa as well. So if I'm doing something and they can't see it, they're going to shout abuse at me, and I'll stop. I'm also going to have two screens for tonight. So I will have this is my student screen, which is the silver at the top. That's my student screen. And then I will have my teaching screen, which is the black one at the top. And then for tonight, I have my third screen, which is my Microsoft Teams screen, which doesn't look as exciting, but if it's purple, then it's the Microsoft Teams. So that should be quite nice. So what I want to start with is looking at this piece of software called Trello. So Trello.com is a tool which we use for scheduling and planning in its kind of simplest word. So once we go to Trello.com, you can just log in, you can sign in with a Gmail account. And we're going to go on the main screen here, and we're going to go to create a new board. When you get to create a new board, you've got these few options straight away. So I'm going to give it a board title. Let's call this one.
Hey, Julian. Sorry,
hello.
we're still in Teams.
Are you?
Yes, sorry.
You've missed out. I'm done. Let me go back. Thank you for that. Thank you. So here we go on Trello.com. Once you've logged in with your Gmail, we're going to go to create a new board. Now you've got a few options here, and I'm going to give this one a planning document title. Now what I can do here is I can set it for specific teams, which I'll look at later on. So I can organize teams for specific planning projects. I can have it as visible, or I can have it as private. Now what I'm going to do for the nature of this, I'm going to do it as public. And there's a reason why I'm doing it as public, so that it fits onto my Microsoft Teams later. I can add funky backgrounds if I want to put a funky background on, or if you hit these three dots here, you can see more and you can upload different pictures. You know, the choice is yours really. You may want to, that one, that looks quite nice. And then let's create the board. So on our basic board here, we have the list page. These are our title names, and we have this background here. And what I'm going to do for my planning document, I'm going to put 3 headings in. I'm going to have this one as to do. I'm going to have the second one as am doing, because grammatically I don't care. And I'm going to have this one as complete. Now, what I've done here, these 3 headings here are to help me kind of line out my planning schedule. And underneath, what you do is you add what they call cards. So let's say my first card is I've got to plan a lesson. So I'm going to say this is a geography video lesson. And once I'm happy, there we go. Now, once I've done this one, I just click on it once, and it now will give me this new open window. And this is where I can start to really play around. And this is, I think, one of the benefits of Trello for helping us to plan. So let's add a little bit of a description. So here I can put the details for myself. So plan out a lesson on volcanoes for the Year 6 group this session. No one does classes at that time of night, do they? 2 till 3, and well. Okay. So I can just add my own sort of ideas and words on here. There's also another reason why that's quite beneficial, and I'll get to that in a second. So the activity, I can add some little bits and pieces. Maybe I want to attach a document. So let's attach a document. I do it from my Google Drive if I want. I can do it from my OneDrive, Dropbox. I'm going to do it from my computer. So say, for example, there we go. I've attached a document. I may find some other documents. Maybe I find a web link. I can add that in there. So let's go. Okay. There we go. So what I've started to do is start to build this lesson up for me. It started to come together and I can add little bits and pieces. It is relevant for Google Classroom users, and I'll explain how this also fits with Google Classroom. Don't worry, there's always a reason. Now, what I can do with this as well is I can add checklists, and I love the checklist. For someone, I'm not amazingly that well organized, but the checklist really helps me. So say, for example, I'm now doing all of my lessons online, and I have to think of all the things I need to do for this lesson. So let's say the first one is my lesson plan, and then maybe I need to create the PowerPoint, and then maybe I need to transcript for accessibility. Helps if I spell that correctly. And then I need to do the video, upload to Moodle, assessment, and mark assessment. Now, I can set myself on each of these little due dates. So I'm starting to plan this lesson now. And if I need a reminder, so let's go, you can add on the reminder of when it needs to be due by. So I've started to get my structure in place, and I've started to get there's my due date. So I can put a due date of when everything needs to be done. So I can put that for tomorrow and then hit save. Okay. Now let's look at this here. You've got the labels. Now the labels are great for color coordinating different elements of my plan. So say, for example, I want my green labels to be, let's edit that one, and let's call that one lesson planning. Okay, and save. Now I may want to have a separate label as well for, say, this is Year 6 students, and then save. And I can add these color coordinated labels to my plan that I've got there. Okay, so let's now close that down. And there we go. There's my first thing that I need to do. I need to plan. I can come on this, I can click on it, and there's the attachments. If I find a good worksheet or a good YouTube video that I don't want to forget, I've got the due date of when it needs to be completed, and I've got my checklist of all the elements. Now, the great thing with this is once I've got it in there, I can go through and I can tick off when I've done a certain thing. Okay, I've done that. It gives me that idea of going back in and planning, okay, that's the next thing I need to do. So there's my lesson. Let's put another activity in here. So say my second activity is organize staff meeting. And let's add that card. Again, we can click on it. Let's think of what may go on here. Well, this may be my agenda for meeting. And I can add the little bits in here. Now, if you want, if I have it as a Word document, I can add that in as an attachment, or I may just want to write in here basic notes about meeting. And then you always finish with any other business. I can go back to my labels now. And let's look at what other labels I may have here. So I may have staff meeting. And let's assign that, yeah, blue's nice. Maybe it's to do with the senior management team. We'll go pink for that one. There we go. I've got the color coordinated, I've got the details, and I've got the activity. Again, I can put a checklist on there of things I need to do beforehand. So say this checklist is staff meeting. And maybe again, there's things I need to add. So send out online video request. Next thing I'm going to do, send out past minutes, order biscuits, talk to Jeff about meeting. I don't know. Things that you need to do. Now, what I can do is with the extra one, I can assign separate jobs to certain people. That is a bonus that you pay for it. However, there is a way around getting around that so you can get the free version. Go back to my due date. That's got to be done for, there we go. We'll go for the 1st and we'll save that one. Now, the great thing with creating these as you start to develop is that actually it starts to save some of the bits that you've already pre-built. So let's add another card now. And in this other card, I'm going to be creating now my history lesson for my students. Let's add this card, click on it. I can go to my labels. It's lesson planning, but this is for year 4. Create a new year 4 label. They can have that color. Now, when I go to my checklist, I can copy an item from a previous lesson. I can add that one. So if I've got a generic template I need to follow for my checklist of things to remember to do, which I do with my video classes, I can just add these checklists I previously have, especially if I've got recurring meetings where the general minutes are very much the same. However, I can go in, I can edit these minutes and I can move them around in order just by holding the left-hand button and dragging it up and down. Now, I can go to my attachments and I can update, I can add YouTube videos. I can go from Dropbox and bits and pieces. So say, for example, I have a YouTube video. Let's just take a YouTube video. I'm just going to pick the first video I see. If it's in a, oh, brilliant. This is definitely something I've watched, which is about powerful engines. So I've just copied that YouTube video and I can just paste that in there, give it a name, diesel engines, and I can attach. So this is a great way as we start to plan and start to build ideas together before we actually put the work together. Now, with this setup here, once we've got it in place, I can move it by holding the left-hand button down and start dragging it to what I'm going to do today. So I can still see the things I need to do. I can see what I'm working on at that moment. And once it's done, I can move it to complete. Now, there is something I find really satisfying with this. So if I go back to Trello, one of the things I find really difficult with myself is I will quite easily forget what I'm doing on a weekly basis. So this is something I use at the moment. So I know exactly what I've done. I've still got a lot to write and do. And these bits here are kind of ideas and stuff. But I can exactly see when I go in on Monday, what I've got to do, where I am, and what's in place. I can click on each one I've got. Okay, it's done. And I can see where I'm going through. So Trello in this one as an individual tool is really great. But what I want to look at is now, where is it going to be beneficial? How are we going to make this useful for other people? So I'm going to share this and I'm going to show how we can use this with other people in our organization. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to create a team. So education. There's one called education there. And I'm going to add in just the web address of the person who I'm inviting to my team. And now I've invited that person. So now if I go to my other screen, my other learner, brilliant. Once they go to the Trello board, all teams. They should hopefully, in a second, see the team they're part of. Let's see if I've got that email yet. Any questions so far, just while I'm getting this through? Put them in the chat box about using Trello. More than happy to answer them. There we go. So now this person is part of the team. So you can see under teams, there's education, and they can create a new board. So let's call this one test 2. And here we go. So we'll do the same as last time. We'll do to do, doing, done. Let's go to my other screen. Let's go to my other member of staff. And now they can see, here is the team board. Now, what this means is that you can have multiple members of staff working on the same project. Yeah, someone's just put in there, it could be really handy when staff are isolating. It's superb for this because I can start sharing and I can start delegating certain jobs. So let's put a job in here. So let's put a lesson plan for science. I can double click on this and I can add members to the card. So what I can do is in my team, if there's 5 of us in a team, maybe a certain lesson or a project only needs 3 members of that group. So I only need to add the people to it. I can go back into this, a checklist. I can put my checklist in, so lesson structure. And I can add things that they need to do in here. So if I have videos, add lecture notes, add PowerPoint. if we go back to my other screen now, which is my student screen, there we go. They can see that now the lesson that I've added is on there. Their name's been put against it as a job they need to do. So it's got the little box on there. So we can start to delegate different things for people to get involved with. And it's really useful in that way. Oh, definitely handier than trawling through emails. When we're looking at doing things such as, say, if we've got a staff meeting. So let's say we're going to put in a staff meeting. Staff meeting on, EWC prof standards. So say you're doing an updated meeting on the new professional standards. I can delegate people in my group. So we're going to add Julian and me to this meeting. So there's 2 of us now involved in this to do. And I can add, again, that attachment. It could be, say, minutes from a previous meeting. It could be a video. If we're talking about here, this is the professional standards. Let's go YouTube EWC prof standards. I know, that looks quite exciting. I don't know what that is. Yep, we'll have that. So say I want to make them watch a certain video or a task. I go attachment. I paste the link, EWC standards, and I can put this in. It's quite nice. Add the labels. So we'll call this one staff meeting. And we'll add that one to it. There we go. And that's kind of the basic format of it. It's really useful for planning projects, because what we could do here, if we think of it from a classroom point of view now, I can start to, say, for example, they're working on an assignment. I could give them to do, doing, done. So maybe they've got to research a topic, find a video. I can give them a checklist, or higher level learners, they can start to plan out their own checklist, especially if they're working individually. If they're working on a portfolio project, they can start to add portfolios, and they can add different members of the group to that different kind of tool. So it'd be really useful. Do they save or disappear? They save automatically. So it's auto saving, and they don't disappear after any period of time. So like I said, this is something I use kind of quite a bit really to help. So what else can we do with this? We could get some stickers. You can make it a little bit fun. So, you can, if someone's done something, you can, let's give them a little sticker for doing well. So there we go. Well done. Oh, it's desperate. Not going to let me, there you go. So I can add little stickers to things when people have done something good. You as the teacher can go in, put little pictures on it and bits and pieces. It's just a fun way of helping to plan. Now, there's a few people saying, is Trello compatible with Google Classroom? Great question. Yes. And all these functions all the functions I'm showing you are completely free. The only bonus functions are if you want to have a date for individual checkpoints. However, I think I said, so if I go to here, if I want to have individual alarms for each of these, then I have to pay for it. However, I'm not sure why they haven't worked this out. If I do an individual card with an alarm, I don't have to pay for it. And the good thing about putting these dates on, if I go to show menu, go back, I can see there's all the different activities. It will also tell you in here if something is due or coming up. Now the power-ups are where you get your bonus features. You can add them in. Some of them are free, some of them you have to pay for. But if I'm going to use one, then I'm going to go, where's my enabled? There we go. I can add, where is it? The calendar. That's the only one I'd really add to it if I was going to pay for one. However, you can just go in, it will tell you if, there it is. It will tell you if something, so if you hit the calendar, when you've got something that's due to come up on one of the cards, it will appear on your calendar for you. So that's the bonus thing. So let's now start to think of, can this be used in different areas? And what we're going to look at now is how we can share it, how we can go that step further. So once I've got this board, I think I said earlier about if you go to Team Visible, you've got a few options here. If I make it private, only people with the web address can get access to this board and can view it and can edit it. If I hit team, only members who I've assigned to my team, so Learner 4 and myself, can add it. And if I hit public, it means that anyone can go on and they can have a look at it. So if I make this private and I share it, only students who have got a Trello account can access it. But if I go public, there we go. What I can do then is I can take this web address. I can copy this web address and I'm going to go to my Google Classroom. So let's go to my Google Classroom. So I'm just going to go to my student account, Google Classroom. And what you may want to do here is, let's go to this Wednesday group. I've got a few options. What I would do is I would put it, rather than in the stream where it could get lost as it goes through, I would go classwork and I'd create it as an assignment, but I'd have no due date on it. So I can have it as Trello collaboration board. So say use this board to plan your group activity. Now, the good thing about doing this is I can create 3 or 4 of these boards and then delegate a different board to each of the students in my classroom. All I do is I go add, there's my link, I paste the link and I add that in. So I can create a template using Trello, I can then put it on Google Classroom and I can assign it. Now, children need to set up their own accounts, but they can join with Gmail. So when they want to join in, they can just hit Gmail and it works absolutely fine. So there we go. I've assigned my Trello board to that classroom. And because it's public, it means they can go in and they can access it. I don't have to invite them to my board, but they will need a Trello account, which is through Gmail. Now, the next thing I wanted to look at was how can I use this using Microsoft Teams? So they can use their hub account. Yeah, that worked perfectly fine as well. So what I've got here, I've taken my web address at the top. And what I want to look at is I'm going to go now to Microsoft Teams. Now I've not played around, I've not done much on using Teams before, because generally I always found it a little bit limited in terms of what I could do, because a lot of schools do stop and block different bits. But I found ways around it now, so I'm okay. So here on your Teams page, what you've got at the top is this little plus symbol. Now I can hit add tab there. And then you've got a little one that says recent website, sorry. So I'm going to call this Trello collab board. And then all I do is I paste the web link and then hit save. So what this has done now is, once it's taken a little bit, it's now inputted my Trello board into Teams. So here's my general Teams board. We have our normal things, and I may say to people, for the project task, guys, have a look at the Trello collab board at the top of the page. And because I made it public on the sharing here, anyone can go in and now add or see the different elements they need to do for that project. So it's given them that option. So, you know, like I said, I use this. This is on my Teams page. So I can see all the things I need to do that week. And also other people can see what's in my diary. you know, a few times people have added stuff to my board, or they've gone, oh, you're doing that class, I've got a really good idea that might help you. So they may click on it, and then they may add a, you know, a website or share a document. It's a great way of getting people to really kind of work together to help put that forward. Any questions at all on using Trello and collaborating with it on that board? Or is just no one's that fussed at all? They don't care. All quite happy with that one. Brilliant. Like I said, it's one of those tools which I always find really useful. I find a lot of websites as I go. So I have a little tab here for ideas and tasks. So, you know, if I find a website, I'm in the middle of writing a training course on how to create escape rooms. So I put things on there. I'm doing a course on Zoom warm-up games, and I'll add bits of information as I go along and people share it with me. So it is quite useful. Got a question? Yes, if I add something to this board here, because what I've done is all I've done is add a web link. So I've embedded the web link into MS Teams. So when you change it on here, we'll change in the web link in real life. So if I go to this one here, here we go, and I move these two over. And then if I share and look at the student screen, there, they've both moved over as well. And if I move them back and I go back to my Teams page, there we go, they've moved back over. So it is synchronous, it does work all together absolutely perfectly. So that's great. Okay, now the next tool I want to use up is nothing too exciting really, but again, it's about just looking at how we can use something that we already have. And I want to look at using Padlet, but again, the focus of using Padlet in MS Teams, because there is a way, it's a little bit different, but I'm going to kind of talk through how we can embed a Padlet into our group page. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to show an example of one I've already got. So on my, this is where you, there, where is it? I lost it. Here we go. So I've got a Padlet, which is just for me. And this is for my class I'm doing on escape rooms. I've got all these websites which I stumble across. So like a free online receipt maker. Oh, this is a good website. It's one that you can make ransom notes. So I thought I'd do my escape room on someone being kidnapped, which could be quite inappropriate, and fake text messages. It's all these random websites, but I like to add to them as I go along. So what I've done is I've just created a basic Padlet so I can just drop and drag different websites I find. Now what I want to embed is this Padlet into my MS Teams because I want to share it with my group and my class. Now for this, all I'll do is I'll go share, and I'm going to go to embed. Now I'm not going to embed this here because MS Teams likes a website. But if I go down to embedding on a WordPress site and copy, it will copy this link here. It's a slightly different link. So if you do want to embed a Padlet into MS Teams, make sure it's the one down here that says embedding on a WordPress site, not that code up there. So I'll just kind of go through that again. I'm going to go to share. I'm going to go to embed in your blog or website, and then I'm going to hit copy. If I just copy the web link, it won't allow you to add to the board. You'll just be able to see the board. But if I embed it, it becomes part of the Teams. So let's now go to my MS Teams page. There we go. We're going to go back to the top. I'm going to hit add a tab. I'm going to go back to website, and I'm going to call this my Padlet ideas board. And I can now just paste that link from earlier into the board. Brilliant. So what I've done now is I now have an active Padlet board, which I can contribute to, and I can write in on MS Teams, allowing people to take part and share. Because one of the things I've found a lot over the last few months is that having all these great tools and stuff is brilliant, but a lot of people are quite funny about putting in web addresses or them taking somewhere else, and they like it all centralized. So I've got an ideas board, which I share with my students. We put websites on, we put different things to help support them. And it's quite nice when it's all embedded in one safe place. Would anyone like me to go through the embedding process again for that, or any questions about embedding Padlet into Microsoft Teams? I'm more than happy to answer. Just pop any questions in the box and we'll go from there. Okay, brilliant. So I'll just kind of guide through again. What I'll do is I'll just delete these. If you ever want to delete anything, just hit the arrow and we'll go from there. Okay. So let's go from the dead scratch with this one. Here we go. So if we create one from blank, it'll be a little bit better. So here's my Padlet. I'm going to make a blank Padlet. I'm just going to go for, you know, I may go for the canvas where we can do a thought shower, but I'm just going to go for a wall. Give it a title. So say resources for early years. Put a description on there. Any good teaching websites to help? And I'll create next. So on a basic Padlet, to add to it, all you would do is you would go to the plus symbol at the bottom, and I can put the title in. So say this is worksheets, and then I can add a web link. So say I'm going to put in skillsworkshop.org. There we go, lovely. So there's a little. No, okay. So I've created this very basic Padlet. I've put an example on for teachers. The next step for you to then do is to go share. I'm then going to go to embed in your blog or website. And then I'm going to ignore that. And I'm going to go to this one here at the bottom, the one that says WordPress. And I'm going to copy that. Once I've copied that, I'm then going to go to my Teams page. And I'm going to go to the plus, and I'm going to go to website. Put the name of it in there, so Padlet Ideas Board. And then I'm going to paste the URL, the web address, into that box, and then hit save. So that is now embedded into my Teams page. Now, if I'm on my Teams page and I want to add to it, again, all I do is I hit that plus symbol, same as I would on the other page. And say if I go math videos, put a link in there. There we go, Khan Academy. If you've not used it, Khan Academy is great. And I've now added to that board, and anyone can go in. They don't have to have a Padlet account. They don't have to be registered. They can just add to the board, and they can then go to it and they can use it. Now, one of the issues I have identified sometimes is that it doesn't always like, some schools don't like you embedding and accessing the Padlets. If it doesn't work, even if you embed it, where it says if your site isn't loading, click here, all the teacher has to do is click that there. And what it will do is it will give you an option here to go to the website. So it will take you there anyway. If they want it embedded and they want to see it embedded, then all they'd have to do is just open it via desktop. But If it doesn't work, they can just click that bit at the top and it'll take them straight to it. Yeah, the Padlet, loads of people can add at the same time. It's not a problem. So yeah, you can have multiple people adding and taking part at one time. And again, this is where I try to go down the levels. So Trello is quite an advanced planning board. And then you've got Padlet, which is quite a simple planning board. And I've got one more I'm going to show you afterwards. Okay, so the last tool I want to show for you tonight is one that it got introduced to me, and I quite liked it as being a simple, fun board. And this is called Lino. So the website for this, I will put in the chat box actually, if anyone wants to use it. I think it's always good to look at a range of different tools that kind of are quite nice for people to look at and use, and not always focus on the same ones. You can sign up with Google. So I'll just sign up with my Google account. There we go. Now with this one, it is completely free. So I can pick an idea. Let's pick a blank one. Now again, this is very much like Padlet. It's
Julian, we're still on the other side, on the other set page. We're still on your wrong page.
Thank you. Beth should have shouted at me, but you saved the day, Debbie.
Sorry.
Wow. I'm going to have to go through all my patter yet again. Thank you for that, Debbie. So once you sign up to Lino, to sign up with it, all you need is your Google account. Now, if you don't want to pay for Padlet, Lino is completely free and you can have as many of these boards as you want. Now on the basic Lino board, you've got this kind of basic template here, but you can see at the bottom how big it is. So just down the bottom, I'm moving around the screen. It is ginormous. I can add as much information as I want. Now the nice thing with this, it's just simple drag and drop of these little post-it notes. And I can put information on here. So ideas for the school trip. I can put web addresses in there. I can put links in there. I can put a due date on it. So it's got to be done by the 30th, and I can post. So there's my little board on there. I can add a picture. So I can upload a photo. I can choose a file from a computer, and I can share that on there. I can share videos. So say for example, I have my video here of my diesel engine. All I have to do is post that video. There we go. So on my little Lino board, the students can watch the video while it's in the screen here. Got a few questions coming. Padlet is free for 3. Lino is free for unlimited amount of boards. So you can use Lino and have as many boards as you want. It's absolutely free. So like I said, the nice thing I like about this is the ability to watch the video on the board as well. So I can start to add bits with it. It's one of the features that Padlet doesn't do. Padlet gives you a link to videos, but Lino allows you to watch a video on the screen. So that's quite nice. So I may want to put a little thing next to it, say, oh, watch the video above. I can put web links, so I can choose a file. So let's go for this one here. Gives it a little second just while it loads up. And I can post. Now, I can't create audio files on here, but I can add audio files absolutely fine. So what I could do, remember we said from last week, we said vocaroo.com. So I could go to Vocaroo, I could go, and here's an example of how you add an audio file. Go to save and share, and I can copy the web address, go back to my Lino board. Actually, no, I'll delete that one. Go to my link. . cancel that one. I'll put that one on it. There we go. And all I'll do is I'll put my web link on there. So then the student, all they have to do is they click on that. There we go. So I can add that to that screen. So maybe, you know, if I want to edit it, so all I do is at the bottom here, you see these little buttons. I can go edit, and I may say, click the link below to listen to instructions. And I can save it. And there we go. Now, again, the nice thing of this, as we start to do trips, activities and bits and pieces, got a little calendar down here if you want to set it up. Quite a few new features. Now, at the moment, I've got it show as private, which means that if I share the link, no one else can get access to it. But what I can do is with this one here, go to my information. I can embed this, or I can take the URL. Now, if I take the URL, web address, so let's take my web address. I can share this again. I'm going to go back to Teams, hit my plus board, go to my website, and I'll paste in my Lino link. And save. And there we go. So just for those that didn't see this, actually, I'll just guide you through what I just did then, actually. When I added it in, on the URL, you'll see here it says HTTP. So that is, oh, someone will tell me I'm wrong, but I think it's Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Am I correct, Beth? Yeah, good. Now, the HTTPS means Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. And Teams doesn't like it if it hasn't got the S. So I just added the S at the end there. And then that meant that it was secure, it was happy, and it would add it to my screen. So now I've got this Lino board. It's embedded into my Teams page. It can also be shared in Google Classroom. So let's go to my Google Classroom. There it is. I can go create. Again, I'd say set it as an assignment because it stays there forever then if I can have the share date. And there's my Lino board. And I can assign that to students. Blah, 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 blah. And all they have to do is they have to click on that and they've got access. So you've got Lino. It's a little bit simpler. Not as exciting looking, but the students can really add to it and they can really play around with it. And it's completely free, unlike Padlet. Padlet embedding, nice and clear, nice and easy. And then Trello is our really advanced sort of planning document. But I think it's something that could be really beneficial for staff and for students who are looking to work in groups and share or map out their assignments. Are there any questions at all on the three? I'm guessing you can copy the link into a Teams assignment. Yes, you can copy the link into a Teams assignment. That works fine as well. I've never set a Teams assignment though, but I know I can share the links those ways. Any questions at all on using those three or embedding? Please pop them in the chat box. Do I need to share as public in Lino? No, because what it will do is once I've shared it, at the moment it's set for private because I didn't set it correctly from the start. But when I create the board, so if I go to create a new canvas, all I've got to do here is go everyone may post stickies. So when I go to the start of creating it, when I go to my canvases, I didn't click that button there. So I've just got to make sure, and then anyone can stick on it. However, if you say for my private use, it means that students can access it once they've logged in with their Gmail account or their Hub account, which they've already got. So it just means it's a little bit more secure. Yeah, all children can collaborate on the Lino at the same time. You can have, I think it's up to 200 people at one time. You can copy the link to Google Classroom, so all the students can edit the projects and tasks. That's absolutely fine, and they can all get involved. So any questions, pop them in the chat box. If not, I really hope that's got some more ideas going. Yeah, you could keep it private so only students could use it. That's absolutely fine. I would keep it private and allow it so only students can access with their Gmail accounts. That's what I would do. So that would be useful. Yeah, students can delete what's there. I should have showed you that, sorry. So if I go to, here we go. So on each of these boards here, if I go to my board, at the bottom of each of the videos, you've got a few options here. So the pen is for editing. I can send a sticky or I can download it. I can peel it off. I can also hit that little tick and it just gets rid of it. I can then undo it if I didn't mean to undo it. So you have got the options there of playing around with it. The only thing it doesn't have with it, which I think is a bit of a shame, it doesn't have like a version history. So if somebody else goes in and removes the sticky note that you put on, it doesn't let it work. So it's a little bit of a pain. So hopefully that's been useful. Like I said, I'm still going to be here for a few minutes to answer any questions. I'm glad that the collaborative project board is useful. I love Trello, I'll be honest. I use it, like I said, for everything I do, because after a while I do forget what I've got to do in order, and it helps me because I'll go in the morning, and especially with the online teaching at the moment, what we're doing is it's hard to kind of put a priority on what needs to be done. And I find with this, I can really go, okay, looking at the dates, this needs to be done next. Or so today I'm going to do these 3, and then tomorrow I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So it really helps me kind of prioritize my workload when I don't have a class in my face every single day. It's a little bit of a pain. So if lots of children are editing, no, that's the one thing with Lino. This is where Padlet has got the upper hand on Lino. It's a great question there. If children are editing, it doesn't say who did what. You know, I think this is the thing with some of the free software. It's quite a basic engine behind it. So where Padlet, it tells you who's done it. With Lino, it doesn't, which is a little bit of a shame. Can I lock things? No, you can't. Again, with the basic one, which this is, because it's completely free, you can't lock it, but you can watch in and you can take part. Any other questions? Please, more than happy to answer them. If not, thank you so much again for coming in and taking part in learning some new stuff. We've got some really exciting ideas between Beth, Lisa, and I for the future. If there is anything that has come up or an idea and you're not sure how to get it off the ground, please just say, because I work better when people give me a problem and when people have got a problem. So like I said, one of the things that we're working on at the moment is I'm going to do hopefully a session on building escape rooms using online tools. We're going to do on how to do more with Zoom, some games that you can play with Zoom, setting up breakout rooms. But you know, I work better off problems. Give me a problem that you can't do or an idea that you can't get off the ground, and we'll come in where and try and help as much as possible. So what else have we got planned? All my Bitmoji boards. not sure if Beth got my email about that. Did I tell you my Bitmoji board?
I can't remember, but it sounds really good. So
Oh, it's hang on, you got to say. I'll show you it. Where's my Bitmoji? I love my Bitmoji board. It's oh, it won't let me sign in from here because I'm from home. It won't let me sign in. I bet you any money it won't. Yeah. My thing. It's how to create. You create these themed rooms, and then as you move your mouse around the room, so like I've got it where I've got like a classroom with a little me, and you hover over the TV and it takes you to a YouTube video, or you hover over a little Egyptian pyramid and it'll take you to a Wikipedia page for. It's basically how to create interactive pictures for games and stuff. It's quite cool. So if you've got like a revision class, you can have like a Tudor scene or a medieval castle scene, and I'll show you how to make a little medieval version of you. So
that sounds brilliant.
Escape rooms in different languages. Yeah, I'll do that. We can do that, definitely. Hyperdocs. Is that what it is, Mel, is it? I've not heard of Hyperdocs. I thought I'd make something fun. With hub emails. If anyone else can answer this one, because I'm not sure with hub emails. Brenda's asked to the group, is it possible to create a year group email so she doesn't have to send them all individual emails? Is anyone able to, I use Outlook for my emails. Anyone able to help with that one at all? No, I'll have a quick look for you and see if I can ping a link over. So, yeah, I know on Gmail you can, can't you?
If you can hear snoring, it's not me.
I was wondering what that noise. I thought I'd really bored somebody. Oh God!
I have to say this every time I unmute myself. It's like if you can hear snoring, it's not me. It's a British bulldog.
Oh. Suki Morris, what's smooth? You've done the thing of education of using acronyms. Show my homework. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming along tonight. Real pleasure to see you all. And our session next week is on Beth. No idea.
Oh, I haven't got my diary. Lisa probably knows.
Is it collaboration for staff or something like that? That's really helpful. It's collaboration something.
I'm in the wrong month. Because it's on bonfire night, isn't it?
Is it?
It is collaboration for staff. Thanks, Lise.
I'm on it.
Sorry. Everything merges into one. We run so many training courses. Everything kind of merges after a while.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for coming along. And I will see you all next week.
Thanks, Julian.
Thank you. Did you get my email, Beth, in the week about some ideas?
Is this week?
Yeah,
I've been on leave this week, so I've picked up a few emails and flagged them to come back to them. And I think,
do I have a natter next week?
Can we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.